其實初初咧嚟到嗰陣時都所有殯儀館都有 send 個 CV 過去啦，咁都 send 咗幾十份啦。初頭入職都問我老細我話你有冇見過破地獄？佢話我有睇過。亦都有聽過有啲係以為係一家人一齊過嚟係過住將會過幸福嘅生活，點知下一刻就係一個冇原因嘅突然間猝死咁樣。咁所以呢樣嘢真係可以真係好無常，你冇得去估計。
Edith 2021年移民嚟到英國，而家喺一間英國殯儀館做禮儀師。
That's our new clothes that we're going to start selling to families.
Yeah.
We have, I'll show the full suit for men, that's for ladies. So it comes like a two-piece. So that's the top. Both options comes with socks as well.
Yeah. So how much would we charge?
We searched online, and if you want to buy a suit here in the UK, it's about £60-70. So this one is going to go for £36 only.
Edith 係呢間公司唯一一個香港人，佢嘅同事嚟自唔同種族。移民英國之前，佢喺香港嘅公營機構做嘢，兼職做殯儀館禮儀師。嚟到英國，佢做過外賣店包裝，而家叫做返本行。
其實初初咧嚟到嗰陣時都所有殯儀館都有 send 個 CV 過去啦，咁都 send 咗幾十份啦，喺倫敦嘅所有嘅殯儀館都有 send 過啦。咁後尾真係巧合喺揾工過程中，咁又見到有一個 post 係話出 post 係要請，講明係要識Chinese 嘅同埋廣東話嘅，咁我就覺得終於有一份工係真係殯儀館係要求係要請個亞洲人啦。
喺香港做殯儀，通常都係要跟師傅，由行內人帶入行。但係英國做殯儀行業，都係要透過見工去表現自己。
interview 嗰陣時咧，有查咗啲好基本嘅，例如土葬嘅英文啦、火葬英文啦、墓園嘅英文啦、火葬場嘅英文啦、守夜係咩啊？有冇守夜呢回事啊？咁樣啦。咁呢啲係香港我哋好正常成日發生嘅嘢嚟嘅，咁但係你換做英文就諗緊有冇啦。喺英國後尾先知原來我哋香港係一個禮儀師，其實係好多個崗位都要做嘅。我哋會出席埋嗰個客嗰個葬禮，會一齊陪同佢一齊行嘅。但係英國原來唔使嘅喎，原來你作為一個安排者，你淨係需要做文職嘅安排嘅啫。跟住去到個葬禮，其實你唔需要出席嘅喎，我係由另外一個同事去出席安排嘅，咁變咗有好多嘢嘅做法就唔同咯。
傳統中式殯儀行業好多時都會俾人陰森恐怖嘅印象，又會有好多習俗同忌諱。喺度做咗3年半 ，Edith 覺得英國人都有類似文化。
我哋呢度有一層樓梯要上樓梯啦，呢個係英國嘅習俗啦。咁其實佢哋話同一時間我哋要留意住會唔會有人上緊嚟啦？上緊嚟我係要等佢上咗嚟先嘅，或者有人落緊嚟啦，等人落咗嚟先，係唔可以喺個樓梯度 cross 嘅。咁樣係唔吉利嘅，佢哋話。咁呢啲就係嚟咗返工，跟住先知原來呢啲係唔吉利嘅。咁我哋要避忌啦。咁室內開遮啦。咁喺辦公室入邊咧，亦都係唔可以室內開遮嘅，即係就算落完雨，你想開把遮窗吹翻 con 把遮咧，咁佢哋係唔 OK 嘅。喺我入職之前，本身已經有啲中式嗰啲紙品喺度㗎，即係你見到有啲呢啲好傳統舊式嘅黃新酒啦，跟住有啲好耐歷史以前嘅一啲吉儀啦。有部分可能明鈔啦、 或者係有一啲好似呢一啲咁樣祭祀套裝啦。咁就係我入咗之後，老細話可能都試下投入一啲咩貨，可能有啲人會有需要嘅。
Edith 間公司近年積極拓展華人市場，呢個亦都係聘請佢嘅主要原因。短短幾年間，佢引入咗唔少香港流行嘅紙製品，好多都具有香港特色。
出頭入職都問我老細你點樣睇我哋亞洲人嗰啲文化，甚至話我哋中式嗰啲我哋吹啲打，我哋做超度都嘈㗎喎，即係都大搖大鼓咁樣。我話你有冇見過破地獄？佢話我有睇過，佢知係咩一回事。咁我又問過可唔可以喺度做破地獄？得嘅。不過只要你過到消防嗰個問題啦，即係只要你唔係燒着咗間殯儀館，咁其實 OK 嘅。呢個應該係新嘅產品，可以喺個碑上邊咧有個 QR code，咁變咗咧你去拜嗰個先人嘅時候，你可以 scan 個 QR code 咧。入邊可以睇到佢嘅生平啦，佢嘅相啦，咁應該係可以有埋音樂㗎，即係你可以喺個電話嗰度聽埋歌，咁可以刻埋個 QR code 喺個碑或者係嗰嗰啲骨灰位嗰度咁樣。
佢間公司喺英國已經有150年歷史，服務嘅對象由過往以本地人為主，近年已經拓展至華人、東歐人、印度人等等。呢3年間，亦收到唔少 BNO 移英港人嘅查詢。
咁佢哋都係個情況都係可能嚟咗英國唔係好耐，即係可能都係啱啱落腳冇幾耐就面對屋企人離世。有啲係喺英國真係冇人冇物嘅，即係啱啱自己一個人嚟嘅 BNO 嘅人士啦。有啲係一家大細啱啱嚟到，屋企人就突然間過咗世。佢可能連就近個超市都未必話好熟悉咁樣去，就已經要面對死亡呢件事，咁係好彷徨嘅。我真係希望係用返自己有嘅知識同埋自己嘅經歷，係可以幫助到同路人啦，可以幫助到其他嘅香港人。
Is at the end of the day, mind you, we haven't got a lighter.
You know, you take free.
No, that was just luck.
I don't know.
So the long and the short of it is, it's a nice place. It's so simple. They can have their prayers. I think, as I say, the design worked well, didn't it?
We always call the God before we are asking something. Sometimes we take one is represent your person, yourself. Other is connect the sky, and other is connect the ground. So every time we take three in a standard.
John 就係 Edith 嘅老闆。華人對骨灰龕位嘅需求越嚟越大。Edith 入職後引入唔少中式嘅擺設，例如呢個化寶爐係 Edith 喺亞洲選購引入，就咁睇同香港嘅骨灰龕場唔係好大分別。
趨勢上就多咗好多移居英國嘅人，有部分會喺香港帶埋自己屋企人嘅骨灰過嚟啦，有部分就係喺英國離世咗，咁都需要有一個中式嘅骨灰位啦。咁兩樣都有。暫時而家會用呢個骨灰龕位㗎啦，都係香港過嚟嘅人嚟嘅。咁有少部分就係住喺附近嘅一啲路亞橋啦。咁另外一啲就係可能本身有用我公司服務嘅本地嘅英國或者其他種族嘅人咁樣咯。
So if you look at our business traditionally, a UK funeral director traditionally will look around his area, and when someone dies, they would normally go to their local funeral director. Having Edith here, knowing what we've managed to build here, I'm always confident that, you know, the Chinese people and those from Hong Kong will come here. And mainly because there's nowhere else that can offer the same type of service.
usually don't you know this plaque we always tailor make for the family because each time different family they will have different wording to describe how they miss the family. So I'm not sure that have you ever recognized that these 4 letters because I've changed it as the first week.
All I know is there's 4 panels. The rest of it I can't even describe.
First one is music, is the sound, and the second is the face. The full language that means your voice, your face, still in our memories.
You see, up until now, well, it's been the last 15, 20 years, the East End has changed dramatically. This area now is only 13% white English. There's a lot of elderly Chinese that have lived here for years, have no use of English at all. So when it comes to talking to people about bereavement, you know, you're dependent on some of these people for their information. And not everything gets translated exactly. So having someone like Edith, you get the actual what we need to do. So that's important.
Hello， 大家好，今日想同大家介紹呢個英國殯葬小知識之棺木系列。英國人正常用嘅棺木咧，就會係選用呢個英式棺木。今日介紹嘅呢副咧就係簡單款嘅 Candle Coffin， 價錢咧係450磅起。如果想要有更加優質嘅棺木，亦都可以選擇再去提升其他款式嘅。而一般我哋香港人或者亞洲人用嘅啦，就會係揀選一個叫做 Coffin Casket。售價咧就會係由1600磅起，去到3300磅不等，視乎翻棺木嘅材料。咁呢個款式咧就相對嚟講比較四平八穩啲啦，有充足嘅空間咧可以俾大家擺心愛人嘅陪葬品啦，甚至可以擺日衫都可以嘅。如果你話想要有最雍容華貴、最豪華嘅棺木咧，亦都可以考慮 Michael Jackson 嘅同款棺木 Majestic Gold。呢款棺木售價咧就係3萬磅英鎊，咁佢個外表咧係上呢個真黃金金漆嘅。如果大家都想 get Michael Jackson 同款嘅棺木咧，都可以考慮呢個款式。
移民嘅過程中，除咗揾屋揾工之外，點樣延續自己嘅信仰習慣，係 Edith 呢幾年間面對嘅其中一個問題。簡單到當年佢新居入伙，想按照傳統習俗拜四角，都一度差啲難到佢。
傳統真係拜祭嘅嘢就發覺咁你食英國就確實係比較少嘅，亦都真係佢只能夠得好簡單嘅一啲拜祭用品咯。咁如果你話拜四角，我都唔係好明點解英國係冇嘅。我去嗰啲中超，可能我揾到有觀音衣、有關帝衣，或者有拜土地都有嘅。但係偏偏係拜四角咧，我去過好多個城市咧，都揾唔到呢一樣嘢。
好彩佢移民嘅家當入面有帶埋紙製品，總算解決到。不過拜祭完點樣化寶，又係一個考驗。
正常英國咧咁安全咧，你會見到屋企至少都停留起碼1至2個花籃噶啦。點樣可以做呢件事又唔響花籃咧？化寶嗰陣時，因為傳統上都唔需要喺嗰個角落嗰度去化嘅，其實就係可以你將拜完啦，你將需要嘅衣布啦，咁啊搭翻起一齊，咁就喺一個合適嘅地方去化咗佢就得。如果你話真係好似住 apartment 咁樣，你未必可能都係有花園或者有一個露台係可以比較空曠啲可以化寶嘅話，我自己就真係最安全就係平時煮食嗰個位咯。呢份有啲客人問嘅，我都會話你逐張化。最多係慢少少嘅啫，咁但係你一定會減少你煙會產生嗰個速度，同埋最緊要要開抽氣扇同埋開窗咯。
要喺英國維持中式拜祭，唔少移英港人都遇到類似嘅問題。佢後嚟索性喺社交媒體幫人代購。
呢個40磅嚟嘅，因為佢真係好大呢個。
之前都有好多人查詢就係電視機啦，始終電視機真係對呢個長者真係好有需要嘅。咁不過呢個電視機咧係都得意嘅，因為佢而家已經出到有牌子啦，同埋佢聲稱係有3D 立體眼鏡嘅。 咁呢啲就係一啲佛教嘅經文被啦。咁就係有啲本身佛教徒或者有啲信服佛教嘅朋友咁去離世嘅時候，就可以將呢一個經文被就係蓋喺先人嘅遺體嘅身上邊啦。呢個真係冇可能揾到。因為呢一個真係比較傳統啲啦，咁同埋其實喺香港好多時咧就係殯儀館幫你安排嘅時候都已經安排咗，所以變咗家屬就冇咁需要操心啦。但喺英國其實你根本上都冇呢樣嘢可以做得到嘅時候，咁變咗有啲家屬可能都會我都想行翻比較傳統啲喎，咁就會有咁嘅需要咯。習慣信仰呢樣嘢唔會話因為你移居咗其他國家，嗰個國家可能同你嘅信仰唔同，咁你而有需要要去改變咯。因為呢個我唔係話要喺街外邊展示，亦都唔係話要周圍去宣揚。咁我唔會覺得因為移居咗個國家，佢可能係唔同你嘅信仰唔同嘅，咁而去捨棄咯。我覺得唔需要。
其實好耐想練嗰啲啦。呢度咧係一個五台山嘅道場。
五台山我識。
五台山，因為五台山佢哋有筆錢就買咗呢度，即係佢原本係個 church 嚟嘅。
咁呢個 church 咧，佢已經係有100幾年㗎啦。佢建立嗰陣好似係1893年。咁呢個係一個遺留性嘅一個 historical 嘅 building。佢唔係 over 300年，但係就係受呢個文物嘅保護，所以咧佢唔可以轉為其他 commercial。之前咧呢個地方係有人想買嚟起做 residential 嘅，但係後尾就係唔可以。咁變咗咧係維持返呢個宗教嘅用途。咁呢個地藏王菩薩啦，就平時譬如話有啲人往生。我哋上次做有啲人要寫牌位或者做法事做1個月3個月7749日啦，咁我哋呢度會寫個牌位俾佢咯。咁然後有時佢哋需要做，譬如話做一個回向7749日個回向，我哋又喺呢度做咯，就喺度同佢念地藏經咯。
呢度係倫敦嘅一間佛教寺廟。Edith 因為工作關係，認識到透過 BNO 簽證移民嚟到英國嘅香港人定敏法師。佢以前喺香港曾經修讀佛教輔導，而家每星期喺倫敦唔同地方帶佛教禪修。
當初因為有個香港人嘅家屬啦，咁佢就喺我哋公司嗰度做 team，即係有一個殯葬安排。咁佢哋個家族本身往生者都係信佛教嘅，咁希望用翻傳統廣東嘅佛教方式。因為喺搜尋嘅某個過程咧，就見到法師佢而家即係所屬嘅清涼寺呢個寺廟，咁就嘗試就留言啦，聯絡翻，咁好快咧，咁就即係法師亦都即刻可以覆翻我，就話我願意可以幫助呢個香港嘅家屬，咁所以就。我自己相信係一個好好嘅緣分咯，因為喺英國揾唔同宗教嘅人士協助本身都唔係容易，咁亦都揾到一個法師係講廣東話嘅喎，咁我覺得係真係好神奇呢個。因為佢打到電話嚟，可唔可以幫手？咁佢話需要有人係講即係廣東話嘅，我話咁 OK 啦，我去幫手啦咁樣。因為我哋自己係身為一個法師咧，係面對生老病死係好正常嘅事。甚至乎我喺香港咧，以前都會去啲老人院，但係後尾因為 Covid 咧唔可以入去就冇去啊嘛。我會做探訪啦，又會去醫院探訪啦咁。咁你係會出於你自己個 compassion， 想去幫下佢哋，所以就唔需要諗咁多啦。我哋即時就係可以做嘅嘢就係做咯。
Edith 慶幸移民之後可以做返本行。而過程中又曾經協助過香港人越洋安排身後事，令佢感觸良多。
我啱啱嚟英國嗰陣時咧，就有遇過一個年青人啦，識得好後生，好似大概20鬆啲左右。咁佢就自己一個係男仔，自己一個過嚟英國，咁就諗住尋求呢個新嘅生活啦。咁就係當佢屋企人揾我嗰陣時咧，我就係收到個長途電話喺香港打過嚟嘅。就話佢英國嘅警察就聯絡佢話佢個仔啦，就喺我哋即係喺 Canary Wharf 嗰度附近個河邊，咁就被發現咗係浮屍浮咗喺度。突然間有啲咁嘅意外，咁就好彷徨求助。咁當佢過到嚟英國嘅時候，咁又要面對英國去查案嗰個情況啦，又要去協助辦理所有嘅文件啦，咁仲要安排身後事啦。咁因為人喺香港啊嘛，未過嚟，咁變咗好彷徨咁樣。咁我好慶幸，即係嗰陣時都叫有少少嘅聯絡可以俾網上俾我揾到啦，咁就都協助到個案。咁呢個係真係比較深刻。因為我都相信嚟得英國嘅香港人嘅移民啦，唔一定好多都係一家大細嚟，好多都可能係自己一個過咗嚟先，咁點知喺都未達到呢個移民夢嘅時候，就已經發生咗呢個不幸事件，而喺英國又冇其他親朋戚友，冇人可以協助底下，咁你揾到一個至少係聽得明你嘅語言，你可以直接咁樣溝通嘅。確實係好困難，所以當初都會覺得自己揀咗呢個行業，亦都有緣入得到呢個行業咧，係一個好好嘅緣分。
移民嘅過程中，要解決好多實務問題，安頓好生活都唔容易。面對死亡，未必係好多人會思考嘅事。呢幾年協助香港人處理身後事嘅經驗，令佢哋深深體會要活好當下，好好生活。
其實我都係好希望有一班香港人呢，係能夠幫助一個叫臨終關。Before is better than after。咁我之前有講話，其實真係我嚟到呢度，我真係好想，即係有一班咁嘅人係可以協助到每個區域，都協助到有啲人係將面臨呢個生命嘅轉折點嗰陣，喺嗰度話俾佢聽。呢個係一個自然嘅，呢個係個無常性嘅生老病死，佛陀都需要接受，係咪？我哋如何去面對嗰個？如何面對同埋家人如何去接受呢個係需要 coaching 嘅，即係需要有人去善巧地去點啊，幫助佢，同埋喺個心理歷程去支持佢，即係呢個係需要有少培訓咯。
做咗咁耐，其實好坦白講，死亡真係可以話無常嘅，真係你唔會有一刻係估得到。你個死亡幾時發生？亦都有聽過有啲係以為係一家人一齊過嚟，係過住將會過幸福嘅生活，點知下一刻就係一個冇原因嘅突然間猝死咁樣。咁所以呢樣嘢真係可以真係好無常，你冇得去估計。因為我就真係我係經歷過屋企人死亡啦，咁所以好理解到作為一個離世者家屬面對過嘅一啲困難啦、執着啦、迷惘啦、點樣過渡個悲傷期啦，會係好了解。咁因為自己經歷過，亦都知道要喺呢個困境走出嚟好難，所以會用一個同行者嘅心態去協助翻個家屬，希望可以佢哋行嘅路唔會好似我當初行咁遠咯。